Buenas noches, profesor, compañeros y compañeras. Bueno, para el reto de esta semana, de la semana 9, voy a leer un artículo de la revista Harvard Business Review. Entonces, Operation and Supply Chain Management. It's time for a new model for operation management by Magdi Batato, Xavier Mesnar, and Suke Tugandi. September 19, 2023. Is the traditional command and control operation management model, which reigned supreme for decades in a era of relative stability and predictability. Finally dead, all the things we see cited is, in a post-pandemic world characterized by unpredictable supply and demand, companies can no longer consolidate decision-making at the top. Doing so is counter to the kind of agility, flexibility, and speed they need in a world of rapid and chronic disruption and volatility. While it's been slowly eroding for years, we saw the command and control models finally unraveling during COVID. Amidst the chaos and volatility of the pandemic disruptions, companies were forced to loosen the decision-making reins. They had to if they wanted to survive. When basic goods were suddenly flying off the shelves without warning, and supplies of critical raw materials and components were quickly drying up, there simply was no time for operation managers to gather data, analyze it, and then tell the operation teams how to respond. Companies just had to act with the best information they had and the right people to make those decisions were those closest to the action. These shifts presaged the emergence of a new operations management model, in which the goal is to optimize how accurately and quickly operations respond to threats and opportunities by dispersing decision-making to the points in the organization where it makes the most sense for them to be made. For example, strategic decisions with cross-functional or cross-enterprise implications and long-term impacts, such as allocating capital, relocating a factory, redesigning a product, or entering a new market, are best made by those who can focus on the big picture and broader horizon. Responsibility for more tactical decisions in sourcing, logistics, manufacturing, and distribution is driven elsewhere into the organization to the most logical point, i.e., where the rubber meets the road. Social and government organizations call this subsidiarity, which is the principle that social and political issues should be dealt with at the most immediate or local level that is consistent with their resolution. In operation, this means, for example, closest to where raw materials are allocated as inputs, where products are made, and where finished goods are shipped from the factory to the distribution center. Points where the most accurate and relevant information needed to make the best decision resides. Dispersing operation decision-making is this way is key to a company's ability to respond rapidly and appropriately to disruptions and change in the business environment. This is a profound shift for most companies, large or small. Operations leaders who are used to having control must stop trying to micromanage and firefight. They need to loosen the reins and empower others to deviate from the existing plan or targets if conditions have changed. Operators who look to their bosses for instruction and direction must get comfortable assuming much greater responsibility and accountability for what happens in the company. With disruption coming so fast, there's no time to escalate issues to get guidance on how to react to them. At the same time, operators need to be clear on what decisions they can make for themselves and when and where they should seek support. Key enablers to fuel the shift. Making this model work requires four vital enablers. Each of these must be in place for leaders and operators to both embrace their new roles and execute it at the highest level. The absence of any of them will make a successful transition impossible. First, trust. Trust is the bedrock of this model. Leaders must trust that the people to whom they are delegating decision making are capable of making and will make the best decisions for the company. At the same time, operators must understand which issues to escalate and how. They must also trust that when they run into trouble, they won't be on the chopping block for making a bold decision to change plans when the signals told them that it was the right thing to do. Second, talent. Giving people the freedom to make decisions and act isn't enough. For people to feel comfortable talking on decision making, they need skills and capabilities they may not have needed or had before. These include analytical thinking, contemporary market intelligence, digital and data expertise, logic and reasoning, and soft skills such as interpersonal communication and the ability to convincingly defend one's decision. Therefore, a robust education and learning effort must accompany decision-making empowerment. Third, transparency. Leaders need access to information to understand what's happening in their organization and with their people, while operators need all the relevant data to understand the impact of their decisions and actions. In both cases, clarity on the right metrics linked to specific outcomes the company desires is critical. Fourth, technology. Technology provides transparency. It enables a company to gather and disseminate the information leaders and operators need to do their jobs well. Additionally, powerful AI tools can provide insights to decision makers at all levels, acting as a coach or co-pilot and in some cases making certain decisions on their own with oversight from humans. And in a learning setting, technology is critical to helping people build the new skills and capabilities they need to be successful with their new responsibilities. Next, let's experience with its operator-centric organization. Trust, talent, transparency, and technology are at the heart of what Nestels calls the operator-centric organization, which focuses on three things: empowerment, giving people the freedom to make decisions and act; engagement, providing the tools, data, and information needed to make good decisions and see the results; on enablement, providing skill and capability building so people can appropriately use the information they get to make the right decisions. In 60s Nestle's factory, operators have iPads through which they can scan a code on a piece of equipment and see all data relating to it, including safety features and performance. They can also control some elements of the equipment from the iPad. This gives the operators a true sense of ownership of their equipment, just as a dashboard on a car gives drivers a feeling of being in control of the vehicle. Nestle also uses the same device to provide skill building, giving operators access to the training and information they need to continually enhance their capabilities. Nestle plans to deploy this approach throughout its 350 factories globally. With the operator-centric organization model, Nestle has effectively created mission-directed work teams, a concept introduced by Competitive Dynamics International. These are not truly independent teams, but rather teams that understand the boundaries in which they can make decisions. Operators, for example, are aware of the limits to what they can decide on their own and when they need to refer something to the line manager or team leader. Factory managers know when and where they need to contact the technical manager who is head of all the factories in a specific geography. For the operator-centric model at Nestle to work, everyone also must embrace the same culture and values within the factory. Of course, the social and emotional culture of each factory's country or region might differ because Nestle has factories around the world, but it is important for the company's people to understand that when they enter the factory, the same business culture and values are present in every facility, whether it's in South Africa, Malaysia, or Switzerland. In this way, that factory still benefits from Nestle's values of transparency and honesty without forcing employees to do things that are inconsistent with how they behave normally in their day-to-day lives. Building next-generation operations management for a new world. The environment in which companies operate has clearly changed, and that has put the final nail in the coffin of command and control operation management, with companies needing to be quicker not only to react but to anticipate. It's time for a new operational model, built on trust, talent, transparency, and technology that can enable them to accelerate decision-making, respond more effectively to disruption and unforeseen events, and continue to be regenerative by organically adjusting and reinventing themselves as the world around them evolves. The authors would like to thank Marcus Beckbart for his valuable contributions to this article. Bueno, básicamente acabo pues, de terminar el artículo. Este artículo nos habla de que es hora de un nuevo modelo de gestión de operaciones, que gracias a la pandemia del COVID se dieron cuenta que a veces se necesitaban tomar las decisiones en el momento preciso. Y esto hacía que fuera necesario que no solamente los tomaran los líderes, sino que también operadores en ciertas ocasiones tenían que tomar decisiones. Nos habla de que hay 4 principales factores que impulsan como los cambios en esos modelos. El primero es la confianza, que la base de este modelo que estaban hablando en ese artículo es la confianza, que los líderes deben confiar en las personas que trabajan con ellos y deben confiar para poder delegar la toma de decisiones. Y que al mismo tiempo los operadores deben entender que necesitan apoyar a esos líderes y que también deben confiar en que cuando se metan en problemas no van a estar solos, sino que pueden contar con los líderes. Se habla de que el segundo principal factor que impulsan esos modelos es el talento, que la gente, que no basta con que los operadores o las personas que hacen parte de una empresa puedan tomar decisiones, sino que también puedan actuar y que se sientan como tomando esas decisiones. Entonces las empresas van a capacitar a la gente para que pueda aportar en las decisiones de la compañía en este nuevo modelo. Nos habla de la transparencia, de que los líderes necesitan acceder a la información pues para entender lo que ocurre en las organizaciones, para poder ayudar, que tener todos los datos a la mano. Y la cuarta hablaba de la tecnología, que la tecnología era aportada a la transparencia porque permitía tener la información a la mano. Luego en el artículo ponen el ejemplo de Nestlé, que es una empresa con más de 350 pues como organizaciones alrededor del mundo, y que estos cuatro valores, que es la confianza, el talento, la transparencia y la tecnología, es como el centro de lo que denomina la organización de Nestlé, y que se centran en el empoderamiento, se centran en habilitar a los demás, en capacitar a los demás y en comprometer también no solamente a los líderes en una organización, sino a las personas que trabajan en esa organización, y que esto se vuelva como cultura organizacional, porque a pesar de que son 350 compañías, que no sea diferente en una que en otra, que se trate de que todos tengan los mismos valores corporativos. Entonces de eso habla este artículo, de como que es importante tener un nuevo modelo de gestión de operaciones, y que no solo sea a cargo de unas personas, sino que sea un modelo de toda la empresa, como en el ejemplo de Nestlé. Muchas gracias por la atención.